So I would bet that most of us probably dream or have dreamed about being a professional athlete. And if you are a fan of the NFL, right, you can go outside, throw a football around. If you're a fan of the NBA, you can shoot hoops. But if you are a fan of NASCAR, well, then sim racing is the best way for you to feel like the pros. And so here are the games I would recommend that give me that experience of feeling like a professional NASCAR driver. I should say that just because I recommend these games doesn't mean all of them are for you. So I'm gonna give specifics for what type of sim racer, what type of gamer would want to play these games. And this is specifically for people who lean more towards the sim racing side of things. So I'm not going to be talking about games like NASCAR Thunder or anything like that. So let me start off by talking about a classic, the classic of classic NASCAR games, NR 2003. And one of the best parts of NR 2003 is that if you have a existing PC, you should be able to run it. It is easy to run on any hardware because it is from 2003, and so you shouldn't have trouble running it. There are plenty of good tutorials and guides you can find online, plenty of great NR 2003 content creators that have just provided some in-depth details on how to not only get the game running on your computer, but looking good as well. I know that maybe messing with settings and INI files could be intimidating, but these YouTubers make it super easy to do. You just follow it step by step. I think anyone can set it up. It shouldn't be too difficult. Out of all the NASCAR games you can play, including non-sim racing focused ones, NR 2003 is the most customizable out of all of them. Anything you can think of. You want to race at the original Daytona Beach with the next-gen Cup cars, you can do that. You want to pretend that the Gen 4 era never ended, you can do that. Anything you can think of, you can live out your NASCAR dream. You can run a career mode from 1990 to now. You can create your own rivalries by upgrading the aggression of certain drivers. You can have people go through slumps, hot streaks. You can edit tracks to have high lines as if they have the PJ1. And NR 2003 is by far the best offline NASCAR sim racing game. I think the AI is still better than iRacing in a lot of ways. They're still working out those kinks in that. It's probably going to get better in iRacing, but for right now, the AI is still top of the line, consistent in how they race on every track, unless you get a crazy mod. But for the most part, the AI is still, in my opinion, the best in any NASCAR sim racing game. Speaking of iRacing, that's a great one to talk about next. iRacing is amazing if you want to feel the heat of the competition. Not talking about NASCAR heat, we're talking about iRacing, but it is amazing if you want to feel what it's like feeling the pressure of a NASCAR driver, where your crashes count, where you can make other people mad, where you can play psychological tricks, trick people into going on the high line when you went low, where you wait them out patiently, you try to intimidate them instead of passing them, just get really close to their bumper. It encapsulates NASCAR in that way that only really racing real people can. You can't really intimidate the AI like that. You can't switch up your lines and get them to overthink like that. You're not afraid of damage when you're racing the AI. And so in that way, it is so extremely immersive and making you feel like a NASCAR driver when you're racing against other people. This is easily the best online NASCAR racing game, and it is really the only VR compatible NASCAR racing game. NR 2003, you can race in VR. I've done it, but it is a headache to set up every single time, and it's not the best. It's, a mod, obviously. And so if you are a VR NASCAR fan, iRacing is really the only option you have. You could download some NASCAR Cup cars for Assetto Corsa, but that game is not built for oval racing at all. So as far as VR NASCAR goes, iRacing, far and away the only choice. And I should say it is the most realistic NASCAR driving experience. Obviously, I haven't driven a Cup car. I would love to do that one day. I would even love to drive a old hobby stock around the track and race in a oval series, but that's besides the point. If anyone wants to help me out with that, that would be cool. But it is, I can confidently say, it is the most realistic driving. Dale Jr. is hugely involved in iRacing. I think he's even a co-owner, maybe executive producer, but he really has his hands on. They get scans of the cars, they get scans of the track, and so you will feel the differences between an Xfinity car, a truck car, a cup car. And so if you want that realistic driving experience, you're going to get that with iRacing. Really quickly, before the next point, I would really appreciate it if you're enjoying the video so far, if you could leave a like and subscribe. I'm trying to post a video every single day in February. Probably won't happen, but that's my goal, and the goal is, with that, being able to hit 1,000 subscribers. I love sim racing, and I would love to just be able to continue to make content for it, and when people subscribe, it really helps motivate me, and I just so greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys. The last game I want to talk about, it's gonna make some people mad. It's more of a simcade, but I think if you're a sim racer and you just get in the right mindset, you'll still enjoy this. It's NASCAR Heat 5. I know I said we weren't talking about NASCAR Thunder games or anything like that, but what sets NASCAR Heat 5 apart is that it is very fun to still play in a sim racing rig. And for me, that's a huge factor of why I play it a lot more nowadays than NASCAR Thunder, because I just want to have that driving experience. It makes me feel immersed, makes me feel like a NASCAR driver, like I was talking about at the start, where you want to have that pro athlete feeling. So while the career mode is not as good as those older EA NASCAR games, it still is the only game, NASCAR Heat 1, 2, 3, 4 also, that allow you to be able to use your sim racing setup and run a somewhat decent career mode. You still have sponsor goals and all that, so it's still a good time. And on top of that, the modding community for NASCAR Heat 5 has really been big the past couple of years. You can get all your 2023 paint schemes, 2024 paint schemes, and the modders have done a great job. The game didn't come out with the new next-gen cars, and modders figured out a way to get it in, running well, looking great. And of course, I should say, fall of 2025, iRacing and Monster Games are coming together to create the next NASCAR game, NASCAR 2025. I am very excited for it. Probably going to make a video about it soon. Should be on the screen. And if you're watching this video and just getting into sim racing, you can check out this other video on whether VR sim racing is right for you. Thanks for watching.